It's Wednesday, April 10th, 2013. I'm Rym.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, talking about MoCCa Fest 2013.
My face itches.
Let's do this. Why? Because you haven't shaved?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. My face never itches when I don't shave.
Do your beard hairs get pointy, turn around, and poke you?
No, they pretty much go straight out in a nice, thick, orderly fashion. I can grow a Riker in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, mine doesn't do that. Mine, they go out, and then they turn around, and then they poke backwards.
Well, you know what you need to do?
They're also pokey. Are yours like soft and like
mine are really thick.
Mine are like Brillo pad, like
Yeah, they are. But you know what? Once I let them grow to be like a couple of millimeters long, then they're just hair.
No, mine they're just their entire length, and they turn around.
Now, Scott, I think what you need to do is what I used to do
beard
when I had
softening chemicals.
No, but when I had my really long mustache, you got to comb that shit every morning. Like, actually take a tiny comb and comb your beard.
That doesn't help because they don't move.
What do you mean they don't move?
Like, you know, if you comb hair, it goes like if you comb it to the left, it goes left. If you comb it to the right, it goes right.
But
right?
Scott, if you comb the beard hair, what it does is it pulls up the little bits that are otherwise about to go all ingrown.
Yeah, the thing is, the ingrown bits, right, is not from coming out, turning around, and going back in. The ingrown bits is they try to get out, and they don't penetrate the skin, and they turn around.
Well, that's just bad genetics. I'm glad that I come from superior stock.
The turning around and poking doesn't go back into my body, right? It just, like stabbing knives, it just pokes and itches. It continues to grow normal.
Are you sure the itching and poking is not some sort of, I don't know, face dandruff or something?
How would I have face dandruff?
I don't know.
Wouldn't there be
happen.
white flakes coming off my face?
Could be really tiny. I don't know. Just I've never had a beard that was itchy except
if I
when
scratch my face, there aren't like white flakes falling all over. It's not snowing.
All right, so I guess you don't have beard dandruff.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen anyone with beard dandruff. I just can't come up with...
Is that even possible?
I guess so. I've gotten dandruff in my eyebrows sometimes, usually after I'm sick for a while and haven't actually washed my face or hair.
I mean, one time a dandruff when I had hair fell into my eyebrow, but it didn't come from my eyebrow.
Got to be all Seltz and blue on that shit.
I don't have to worry about that shit anymore.
Yeah. I've seen bald dudes with dandruff, so it can happen.
That is fucked up.
That's just really, really sad.
That means you didn't wash your head.
Anyway, because this is an awesome conversation. So, Emily and I, over the weekend, went to see Up on Poppy Hill, which is Goro's new movie. You all remember Goro from...
Mortal Kombat 2?
From
Mortal
making
Kombat 1?
From making really good tournaments?
The guy with 4 arms?
4 arms.
Yeah.
So, no, we went to see Up on Poppy Hill at the IFC.
Also, he has 4 forearms.
Which is my basically favorite place to go. But Goro Miyazaki was famous among anime fans in the US and in many other places up until recently for having failed to live up to the legacy of his father.
Everyone knows, including Genghis Khan, supposedly, that meritocracy is good and nepotism is bad.
Yep. Now, well, it depends, because pure nepotism is bad because you're just hiring someone that you know. But if you pull from the people you know, and the people you know happen to be experts who you now also know you can trust, the nepotism is good.
Well, I mean, there are...
It's bad when you hire crazy Uncle Louie to be on your board of directors solely because he's your Uncle Louie, irrespective of crazy.
There are a few cases, especially if you look at something like baseball or other professional sports, of so-and-so's son, right? So-and-so is a famous athlete, and so-and-so's son either, also tried to go for it but didn't do as well, or I think David Robinson's son is playing college basketball, but I don't think he plays as well as his dad did, right? But there are other cases where, some descendant is better than the original, right? And there's some cases where you have like siblings, like Manning Bros or whatever. So, nepotism doesn't mean there's no merit. There could be merit combined.
True. Anyway, my whole point is that Goro kind of took on a directorial debut with Legend of Earthsea or Tales of Earthsea.
Which sucked.
That was just really poorly done.
Well, it could be the curse of Earthsea in that no adaptation of Earthsea has ever been good ever or ever will be.
It could be, but
other
in this
than
case,
the original book, which you should have read because book club.
This was sad partly because with his Earthsea, it was beautiful and well animated, and it could have been great.
Yeah, because he wasn't drawing it.
But it,
if I'd made a movie and Studio
but his story
Ghibli
basically
animated it would
it's
be
like
beautiful.
He took a bunch of random aspects from different Ursula K. Le Guin stories and just mashed them all together into an interminable movie.
Yeah, I would have written a direct interpretation.
Exactly. But anyway,
And it would have been just as beautiful.
Goro's more recent movie, which the screenplay was by Hayao Miyazaki and someone else. And basically, Goro's dad had a bigger role in this. I think.
So how much work did Goro even do? Or did they just...
Goro did direct it. I think his father supervised.
What does that
and
even mean?
Worked on the screenplay.
What does that even mean?
Well, it means he directed.
Yeah, what exact responsibilities did he have? Maybe they just let him stand there and do it and put his name on it, but actually did everything while
I'm
ignoring
pretty
him.
sure, just my guess would be what happened was he was still the director and got to make all the directorial calls, but the team of people that his father and him had around him were sort of pointing him in the right direction when he was about to do something dumb. Be like, yeah, maybe you should really just focus on the movie part and not add another random story to your already existing screenplay. I'll bet if anything, they just made him stick to the screenplay that was already a good story.
Probably.
But it's the story of a girl who, her dad's dead and she lives in a boarding house taking
On a
care
hill?
of her. It's up on Poppy Hill.
It's the hill has poppy plants.
No.
They
It's
all
just called
get
that.
there's an opium den.
But more
den in the
importantly,
school
it is also about the students at the school.
who are high on opium all the time.
No. In the 60s, Japan in the 60s, who have their awesome clubhouse that's going to be torn down because it's a shithole and they want to protect
Because
it.
they got to expand the poppy fields.
So the movie's
for
got
more
this
opium.
there's no poppies. So the movie's
Why
got
is
this
it Poppy
great
Hill?
sort of dual parallel story of girl whose dad is dead puts these signal flags up every day and someone's responding to him romance, coupled with the camaraderie, Urusei Yatsura band of idiots humor of a bunch of guys in their shithole clubhouse.
Which is all a cover up for opium drug smuggling.
That kind of story is so uniquely Japanese. There's this certain, Scott and I always call it the camaraderie
Opium's pretty
comedy.
popular out in the Asia area.
Are you going to keep this up? Usually, you're the one who gives me shit about taking a joke too far. But you see, Scott, you see what you're doing here.
Am I bothering you?
You're not bothering me at all.
No, then I'll keep it up until I am.
See, it actually doesn't bother me, but I worry that it's going to bother you.
That's okay. I'm not bothered by these stupid opium jokes.
Anyway, so in Urusei Yatsura, there's the band of idiots with their capering and their shenanigans, the band of idiots in Captain Tyler, the band of idiots in Ranma, the band of idiots in Tank Police. They're not always idiots, but whenever there's this certain kind of a group of people in an anime who exhibit this certain type of camaraderie, that is so deeply in my wheelhouse, and that is extremely present from Up on Poppy Hill.
That is a good thing.
I highly recommend this movie. I enjoyed it very thoroughly. I don't want to say much more about it because it's an anime movie. It's not a sequel to anything. It's not a standalone One Piece movie. It's a good anime movie. And actually, the dub, super well done.
Oh, you saw a dub? All right.
I saw it dubbed in the theater, and the
Alright.
dub is excellent with one exception.
There's one character who's just annoying.
Nope. The opening scene has a narration that's only present in the dub, which seems to be a trend in every dub ever. Oh, the Americans will not understand. Let's add exposition and talking to the beginning of the movie.
All right.
But,
So is there going to be a sequel Up on Blueberry Hill?
I was up on Blueberry Hill the other day.
Where are you?
In fact, I heard the whole school was.
Yeah.
You
There's
should all go
apparently a whole-
see
There's apparently a whole school on Poppy Hill also.
From Up on Poppy Hill. It's great. You'll love it. And if Scott watches it, we can do a real review of it.
All right. So, of course, the big comic news this week, which shows that how smart and ahead of the curve we are and awesome we are.
This news story, the thing is, as of Dateline right now, has already gone through its full course from beginning to end, complete resolution, full
Just in
story.
time for our show. All right.
Exactly.
So here's the deal. Story the first. People don't realize this, right? But Apple, when you submit things to the bookstore, the movies, the music, the iTunes, the App Store, right? They let you submit pretty much anything, and you can mark things as 17 plus or not. But the App Store, right? Apple does not consider apps to be art, really.
Now, one, we take issue and umbrage with that, but we'll get back to that.
So if you write a book and the book is, say, Lolita or something, right? That you can sell that in the iBook store, right? To 17 plus or whatever, right? However, if you make an app, like a Lolita app or something, or some people have made games that had like political messages, right? Like I can write a political book, like why you should only vote for Scott, and put that in the bookstore, and they're okay with that.
Scott
iBooks.
Johnson.
But if I made a Vote for Scott app, they do not allow political apps.
Now,
they do not allow freedom of speech and expression in the App Store. They do not consider software to be art.
Now, I would understand if the apps were curated separately for the purpose of preventing malware and shady shenanigans.
They do that as well.
But the fact that they do it for content reasons is arbitrary, possibly, it's basically malicious and anti-free speech.
Yes.
They're a corporation. They're under no obligation to provide free speech or not censor. But you know what? Fuck them.
Right. So there have been cases, you can look them up, of various video games getting kicked out of the App Store that were perfectly legitimate games but had something to say. I think there was like a game about slave, labor or something like that, and they got it kicked out. So earlier, maybe a week or two ago, I'm not sure what day, the French publisher, right, that had some sort of comic app, and they had to remove a significant portion of their library of, French comics from their app because, of course, a lot of them have boobies and shit in them, and, Apple didn't tell them specifically which ones were no good or had it, so they removed any one of them that had, like, even a boob in them just to make sure that they didn't get everything kicked out. So a lot of incredibly A+ all-time great works of French comicry are now not available in the App Store anymore. So, fast forward a few days, story number 2, Comixology, which is pretty much the comic app, right, that I don't use because DRM, and why would I pay that much money when I can pay even less money by pre-ordering discount comics made of paper? They had an issue where Image Comics was like, they wanted to put Saga issue number 12 in the store.
But Saga issue number 12
has a boob in it.
Now, there are sexy and risque
supposedly
scenes.
There might be gay sex in it.
Well,
I don't even know what's in it because I've only read trade number 1.
This is the issue. There are sexy scenes in other of the issues that were fine. And this one, which ostensibly was banned from the App Store, and we say ostensibly because the story has come to its bitter conclusion and we now know exactly what happened.
Yep.
The sexy times are homosexual, and that was clearly the reason this was banned. Now, if that were true, my disappointment with Apple would have been 1,000-fold greater than it already is.
Right. So, however, you could still go to the Comixology website, buy the comic there, and then sync it to the Comixology app on the iPhone. You just couldn't buy it through an in-app purchase on the iPhone itself in the Comixology app, right? So, of course, this caused a huge uproar and side benefit, huge Streisand effect for Saga, which is the best, as we've told you if you listen to our episode about it. And yeah, we're awesome, and we knew about it before you did, if you just discovered it because of this, fiasco. There was a news today that said, oh shit, guys, we actually just didn't put Saga in the store because we thought it broke the rules.
From what I can tell, it's because
Apple told us it didn't, so now we're going to put it in there.
So basically, we got to see the internet rage machine go from 0 to full rage back to, there was nothing to rage about in the first place in the span of a couple days.
The question is now, Image, right? Were you really smart in Streisand affecting backwards on purpose?
Which we suggested was a perfectly valid strategy not 2 days ago.
That has not been used nearly often enough by anybody.
Yeah, guys, Geeknights is banned from Otakon.
Yeah.
We kind of are, but anyway.
B, were they just telling the truth now? C, maybe because of the fiasco, maybe actually Apple talked to them and changed. I don't know.
Apple's not going to change.
Yeah,
the thing is, the real issue here, there's 2 simple issues. One,
and D, let's say what they're saying is true. Why did it take them this fucking long and this much fiasco to fucking fix it?
So the thing is, Apple was basically not involved in that process. The process of the rage machine was Brian K. Vaughan says something and people freak out and people respond to it because it looked like a duck and quacked like a duck and smelled like a duck. And it turned out it really wasn't a duck, But there is a duck. The duck is just one order removed from the specific issue that everyone's raging about. Most people I've seen on the internet are not raging about the ideological stance that apps and games should be just as free of speech as movies. They're railing against the specific homosexual sex thing being banned in Saga, which wasn't actually true.
Okay, now let's take this a step further to get interesting in the Geeknights way.
Oh, which way? Because there's a second stream of internet rage.
Okay, so let's say
that everyone was only talking about Brian K. Vaughan, and all the people originally reporting on this did not mention Fiona Staples, and there's a huge Tumblr outrage at the lack of credit.
Oh, whatever. That happens all the time. Anyway, the real issue here is, let's say we were to take Apple to court and say they have a monopoly on this thing and they're,
Well, the answer could be, Google also has an app store for their platform.
Sure. But let's say, I was able to sue Apple and being like, hey, freedom of speech, they're blocking me because of discrimination or something, something like that.
All right.
I can make some sort of free speech discrimination argument to force Apple to allow my free speech app in the App Store, right?
All right.
Could I argue that my malware virus app is some sort of free speech?
So I anticipated this.
Under the same mechanism to get that in the App Store.
And we do have a direct analogy in more traditional media.
Because if you can copyright software, right? We use copyrights for software, then they are artworks, are they not? And if they are works, then they are speech. And that means if I copyright a virus, it is now free speech. I should be able to...
So you may remember the Innocence of Muslims movie, made famous on the internet for causing riots and basically being a horrible thing in pretty much every way.
Yep.
So there's
free speech.
But I'm saying there's an analog here. There is a similar work of art. Is a work of art, a more traditional work of art than code, because movies have been around longer.
Yeah.
And it has the potential.
That's questionable, right? I mean, movies are from the early 20th century, right? Whereas Babbage was from earlier than that.
Did Babbage have
math? Isaac Newton, older.
So you're gonna say that code is just math? You're gonna go all reducto to the beginning of
saying there were algorithms before there were movies.
Yes, but
there weren't transistors though.
Anyway,
or vacuum
So
tubes.
you've got an analogous situation of there's a work of art that it is likely to end up causing harm that is physical that would not otherwise have happened in that instance, yet is protected free speech. Malware is actually one step worse because it directly causes the first order harm as opposed to simply instilling the second order harm. So the movie enrages the person who then freaks out and hurts someone, as opposed to the malware, which directly hurts someone.
But how about
What if I made a movie that caused epileptic seizures and started showing it to people?
What if, right, instead of distributing the malware where you download it and it malwares you, right? You download the malware and now you can use the malware on someone. It downloads it like that. That would be no different than, say, a CD-ROM, which could be used for pirating, but is not necessarily needs to be used for pirating.
Now, at the same time,
I think
there is an easy way around this.
All right.
One, stores generally will not sell things that are dangerous and harmful, and we have laws about regulating that. Like,
Except you can buy tack hammers and chainsaws and all sorts of shit.
True,
at Home
but
Depot.
you can't buy lawn darts, for example.
No, you can't.
And you would probably get in trouble if your toy store was selling tack hammers.
Yeah, you would, unless it was a toy and Home Depot.
But
in one.
at the same time,
like a Walmart. Walmart sells toys and tack hammers.
So at the same time, if I buy a tack hammer, it is documented and it says if you hit something with this and it is loaded, there will be a tack in it. It is designed to put tacks in things. So if I purchase or download an app that openly, without any confusion, tells me it is malware, tells me what bad things it's going to do, then that is the same as giving someone a tack hammer. You can hurt yourself with it if you want.
I'm gonna make a malware, make a website, and then on the website say this is malware. Please download it.
Yes, let's do it. This will be our art. This will be our installation. You put it in a museum, right?
This is actually a great idea.
And it's got a spot where you can put a USB stick in it. If you put a USB stick in it, it infects the USB stick with malware that will destroy your computer if you ever put it in the computer.
We should do it.
And it has an Ethernet port. If you plug a computer into it, it fucks the computer. Anyway, so if I sell you a tack hammer, but if you hit the wall, it actually shoots tacks into your hand through the handle, that is the analogy of malware that does something it wasn't supposed to do.
I'm talking about you go to the App Store, you download this app, and then the app allows you to malware others, not yourself.
So how is it going to malware others? That's the same as doing like a DDoS or something.
It's a weaponized piece of software for attacking other iPhones or something. I don't know.
So pragmatically, the way I would see this,
theoretically,
yeah, I'm saying pragmatically.
I don't know how it would actually work.
If I were curating a store like this, Apple should completely segregate ideological and speech questions from functional questions, because while you could make an argument that there is no difference, pragmatically, there is actually a pretty distinct difference, especially in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And it is obvious that Apple is discriminating on the content irrespective of the functionality only in this one area, yet clearly is respecting free speech in all these other areas. So they're treating different mediums very differently, and there's no reasonable justification for that, because malware is not, in courts oftentimes you'll see the arguments of this is what the law says it should be used for and what it is used for. Here's the history of the law's use. Is this consistent with its intent? That can be considered by judges.
What it's really used for is Apple just wants their cut, and they want you to put your comics in the iBook store and not in Comixology.
Exactly.
The thing is, they get less cut, I think, from the in-app purchase than from a book. I don't know what cut they get.
I can think of no legitimate defense of Apple's policies on content in the App Store separate from its policies on content in other areas where you can get content through them, simply because of what I just said, because of the fact that they're discriminating both functionally and on the non-functional content of the work itself. So, things of the day. I mentioned it a couple times, but I was kind of reminded recently that the brave little toaster exists. I don't want to get into the details.
Everyone knows it exists.
Our friend Jess at our Burning Wheel game last night did not know that it existed.
What the fuck?
A lot of people have never heard of this movie. Now, at some point, I think I want to watch it again, do a show on it, because there are a lot of interesting things to say about this movie. The people involved
Appliances go on an adventure.
A lot of the team that ended up being Pixar was on this movie way back.
Yep.
And the movie is surprisingly dark and creepy, and it's a pretty amazing movie for what it is. So what I've linked to, my thing of the day, just to give you a sense of this movie, there's actually 2 short videos, clips from this movie. The first clip is one of the songs from the movie called Worthless, which, if you look around on the internet, you'll find a lot of people talking about how this traumatized the ever-living shit out of them as kids. The premise of the Brave Little Toaster is that all electronic devices of any kind have sentience and can die.
Mm-hmm.
And simultaneously, they are still just appliances that are used and discarded. So this is a junkyard, and it's a bunch of cars singing about their lives and how they don't want to die, but how they're gonna die now because they're worthless. And then one by one, they're all actually being killed by the Crusher robot.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal for a little kid to watch, but also cool in this sort of dark, maybe kids do need to be exposed to these ideas at an earlier age way.
And what lesson do you learn from this?
You know what you learn from this? You're going to die worthless and alone.
Ding, 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 ding.
So, the second video I'm linking to...
Don't be the last of your friends to die, because then your final days will be very, very lonely.
Also, be the protagonist, because while your friend, the air conditioner, will flip out and die of an aneurysm because he knows the master's never coming back, the rest of you will probably survive.
What other infamous piece of culture teaches the same lesson?
I don't know. Are you going to reference something specific?
Godfather Part 3.
Actually, that scene of his death is a pretty good scene.
It's the same shit.
It's so anticlimactic. It's like, up. Anyway, spoilers. He doesn't make it in the end.
No. All right, my thing of the day.
No. So my second video. There is a scene where the brave little toaster himself has a dream because he is terrified that he is going to accidentally kill the kid that likes him.
Well, he might, if he goes in the shower, then fuck yeah, he is.
So,
or the bathtub.
One of the most terrifying things in the world is clowns, and this dream sequence involves this scene with a clown
Who
and
picks up
forks,
the toaster and throws it in the shower with the kid?
with forks and smoke, and you'll have to watch it to believe it. But I bring it up because the way it's presented is almost designed to scare little kids. This huge, horrifying clown with a fire hose looms over the screen and whispers a single word. Run. It's a great scene. Show this to your little cousins and freak them out.
Cousins, okay. So, there are pranks like this quite often onto internets. They are nothing new, but I want to show this one because A, it is so well executed beyond others I have seen of this nature. And B, it was so well executed, it already has 1.1 plus million views. So you should probably have seen this. Otherwise, it's going to be one of those things where someone shows it to you and they'll be like, "What? This is from like 3 weeks ago. How come you didn't see it already?" This is from like a few days ago. So it was uploaded on April 5th. So you're only 5 days late if you haven't seen it. It is human chair scare prank. Dude dresses up as a chair.
So effectively.
People sit on him, but you got to see this chair costume is so perfect.
Now, my worry, Scott and I talked about this while we were watching the video. All it would have taken is one fat man to turn this into a tragedy.
If you read the YouTube
where
comments,
they find the dead body in the chair weeks later because it starts to smell.
If you read the YouTube comments, they talk about how like some of the pranks they did weren't on video or weren't good for the videos. They didn't show them. Like there was some where like he would whisper in people's ears as they sat there to freak them out, but you can't hear it on the video, so they didn't put that in the YouTube, stuff like that. So
but he just whispers, "Run."
Yeah, you're saying, "Who's sitting on me?" Why are you anyway?
Your grandma's still alive.
You should watch this because it's funny. And the people take it pretty well, which is nice.
The only thing it doesn't have is, I love these pranks, but still, my favorite kind of prank is the one where the person doesn't realize they were pranked.
Good night. Good night for flying.
Yeah, good night for flying. Or that epic fire prank that was so close, but then they ruined it by revealing what happened at the end of the guy.
Yeah.
I'll save that one for another thing of the day in the future. Yeah. So, book club book in the meta moment is
The Player of Games. I should actually start reading it again. I read a bunch of chapters and then stopped and haven't read it in weeks.
Well, we're actually back on track to be able to read that book now that we're past PAX.
Yep.
And we have a few months before PAX and then PAX.
Yes.
Anime Boston's in the mix somewhere in Connecticut too.
We will do this book club before the next.
Next what? Stopping?
I guess before Anime Boston.
Anyway, so I'm not editing that pause out, Captain.
Good.
So we're
right.
doing not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 lectures at Anime Boston.
That's good because if we don't fill the time at Anime Boston with panels, I don't know what we're gonna do besides eat.
We're doing how to recommend anime. We're doing how to run an anime club. We're doing anime openers from around the world, which is identical to the last time I ran it. So if you saw it before, don't see it again. We are doing Every Anime is the Same, and we're doing Judge Anime by Their Covers.
Nice.
This is going to be a fun time, actually. Emily is also doing a panel.
Whoa.
Our friend Judith is also doing a panel.
Whoa.
We're going to go all out at this Anime Boston because since we're banned at Otakon, we got to bust out the anime somewhere.
That's right. I'm also feeling some anime lately. I'm thinking I'm going to watch that Nichijou. I downloaded it.
Have you ever seen an episode of Nichijou?
I saw parts of episodes of Nichijou.
Nichijou is pretty fucking great. If you watch a bunch of it, we'll do a show on Nichijou.
Anyway.
It's like take Azumanga Daioh and make it, I don't know,
more fucked up, like a
two
little
full-
Cromartie mixed in.
2 full steps more fucked up and 1 step more surreal.
I think it seems to me like an Azumanga plus a Cromartie. Also, all the Cartoon Network shows are on Netflix, so I've been watching a whole bunch of all those all over the place. Some Samurai Jack, some Dexter's Lab, some Powerpuff Girls.
Well, you know, I've been watching Archer and Adventure Time pretty much.
I watched like 3 Adventure Times.
Yeah. I'll say this. Your Adventure Time gets better and better, and kind of like Venture Brothers. Like
some of them are better than others so far, right? It's like the ones where the one with the weird heart, that one wasn't so good.
Nah.
The heart that came to life.
He comes back though and has a really good episode in like season 3.
Yeah, that one was not so good.
I'll put it this way.
The ones where it's just like where they're adventuring with the elephant, that one was good.
Yeah. I'll say this. Season 2 of Adventure Time steps up the game in a huge way. And season 3 steps up a bit beyond that. And then season 4, there's kind of this serious plotty thing between the end of season 3 and season 4 with alternate realities and stuff that's actually super good. And there's some serious episodes and some kind of interesting experimental episodes in the vein of the famous Dexter's Lab of,
Well, obviously I don't know every character in
You don't
Adventure
need to.
Time.
I love the fact that
But
Adventure
the best
Time.
character in Adventure Time so far
Ice King?
No.
Jake?
No, he sucks.
Have you met Marceline the Vampire Queen?
No.
She will be your favorite character.
The favorite right now is Lady Rainicorn, because shit, who doesn't want to be a Rainicorn?
She's pretty chill and cool.
Yeah.
I like how she just talks in Korean. They don't give you subtitles.
Yeah.
There's one episode where she talks for like a minute and they just don't tell you.
Yep.
It's like, whatevs. You'll like Marceline because she's kind of bad.
Anyway, let's
It's been animation season.
got any other
lately.
meta action?
Not too much. I mean, we're gonna be at Anime Boston.
You should, we are internet people. If you use internets like Facebooks and Twitters and websites and RSSs and podcast subscribings and forums, we have all of those things, Google Pluses. So whatever of those things you use, we even have an RSC channel. You should go and connect with us using those things.
Oh, and because we're gonna have a bunch more episodes coming up now that we're back on track with our normal schedules, our show, Geeknights Presents Shoujo Kakame Utena, is ongoing. We are analyzing in depth, as in sometimes our episodes are longer
we have
than the
YouTubes
episodes we
too.
talk about.
We have YouTubes.
Every single episode of Utena, one by one, until the end of Utena.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty good show. I'm actually really proud of it. And
So go to frontrowcrew.com and you'll find all these things.
yes, you will find all these things.
FrontRowCrew.com. Oh, shit. All right. No one goes there. All right. So,
MoCCa Fest.
MoCCa Festival. We've been to this thing how many fucking years?
5,
Seven,
7,
8?
I remember we used to take the train from Beacon down.
Yeah, we went to the Puck building however many times, and then we went to the Armory. We've been every time it's been at the Armory, we've been there. And we went to the Puck building between 2 and 4 times. So, this MoCCa Fest was a new experience because, if you don't know, the Museum of Comic and Cartoon Art, this was their fundraiser for the year, basically. The Museum of Comic and Cartoon Arts Festival. And even though they had this fundraiser every year that made a lot of money and was super successful, they didn't make enough money. And they were getting to the point where they had to sell some of their great works in their museum to pay the bills, which was very sad. So rather than do that too much, they sold themselves to the Society of Illustrators in the city, which has a lot more money. So now it's totally rescued, and now it is part of the Society of Illustrators, and the Society of Illustrators has done a good job of making sure the festival still happened, and the festival totally did still happen, very similar to how it has in previous years. However,
Not identical.
not identical. They made some changes.
So first and foremost, there was a large curated sort of museum collection in the back.
Yes, it seems they took part of the MoCCa itself and put it into the MoCCa Arts Festival, an addition with a selection of the MoCCa gift shop, right? Also is in the back corner, which has never happened before. So to sort of, I guess, entice you to come to the Society of Illustrators and check out the MoCCa stuff they have there and also sell you the stuff from their gift shop so they can make money. It's okay. I'm happy to look at that stuff without having to actually go over to the Society of Illustrators, where I don't really have too much time to go to. Nothing wrong with that, except that took up some space in the Armory, and I didn't count the tables, but it felt like there were a little bit less tables. Not like a lot less tables. Not like, oh my God, where did all the tables go? Similar to PAX East, where it's like, is this smaller? Did you get rid of, were there less tables than last time?
But at the same time, I wasn't super put out by that because the curated thing was actually pretty interesting to see a lot of those original drawings of like these old newspaper comics.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to have it there. It was awesome. But
I think of everything I saw back there, that Adam and Eve comic, did you actually read that comic that was up on display?
Yeah, I read that.
I really liked that.
That's a good one.
Because it was one of those very subtly well done, implied a lot, but didn't say it openly kind of comics. And the style was cool.
Yep. But anyway, so yeah, they replaced, I guess, at least a few tables of the previous year with this section. 2, they basically raised the budget on the thing. So there were like all these red curtains in between
That was great.
the tables, which was awesome. Because number 1, it made the whole place look and feel more professional.
Yep.
2, it really reduced the noise because people talking in one aisle, the sound wouldn't really get to
Yep.
the next aisle so much.
Also, 3, it reduced some of the clumping that used to happen because in the old days, you'd walk in and you'd walk, like I have some video I've uploaded, I think, at some point, and you see everything and you see the big clumps of people, and people who are walking in who aren't us and go methodically tend to walk over to where the clumps of people are and just makes everything worse. Like you immediately see where the big popular things are and go check them out. But with these dividers, instead, more people were doing the walk up and down every aisle, which reduced the localized crowding and I think caused the average attendee to see more of the interesting stuff at the show.
Yeah, our usual method was repeated where you walk up and down every aisle slowly, and then you walk up and down every aisle somewhat less slowly, buying all the things you saw the first time that you still feel like buying.
So the 2 differences that affected me, and this is just my perception, is 1, I bought a lot less, probably the least I've ever bought at a MoCCa this year.
Me as well.
Now, part of that was because I saw a lot of the same tables who had a lot of the same comics that I've already bought.
But all of those same tables and same everythings we've been going to this thing how many years in a row? So that's not really a change, right? I mean, I've seen some people there every single year for the whole time I've been going.
True. 2, I feel like there were fewer of the, across the board, these sort of very small, interesting one-shot type of comics that I would usually buy. Like fewer of those things caught my attention for some reason. I don't know if it was because the topics or the cover art was different. Maybe there were less of them. I can't tell. All I know is I picked up, flipped through, bought, or was caught attention by fewer and fewer of those little kinds of comics that I used to buy fistfuls of.
Yep. Well, I did notice a lot of people seem to be doing a little bit more craftiness, a little bit more, pins, stickers, buttons, things, and a little bit less. Here is a full mini comic type of thing. And that's really what I go there for is mini comics, right? It's like I want, some sort of whole comic or at least issue of comic, right? That is the kind of comic I can't just buy on Amazon or pre-order from the comic store.
And a lot of the tables were, it's not new, it was always like this, big publishers with even though they're fairly independent or small press comics, there's still things I can just buy on Amazon.
Or pre-order.
Yeah.
I did buy one book from Miriam. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Is just Catton. I don't know. Because she was just fucking right there. And it's like, oh, well, I buy this and then you doodle it and then I take it and that is okay. Even though that book I could buy on Amazon.
My other perception was that some of the weirder offerings were not there this year. There's a lot of people I remember being there every year who were kind of weird or offbeat that I didn't see.
It could have been the reduction in tables. I heard from someone the tables are $400. Don't know if that's true.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but that still pushes a lot of people out. But even if it pushes people out, I saw there were at least 4 or 5 tables that might as well have been like Anime Boston Artist Alley tables with, some cute anime peoples, usually girls selling, cute anime stuff.
There was a number of fan art kind of anime con, Artist Alley kinds of things there, and maybe I'm contributing to the problem, but I actually bought a print of this Lemon Grab from Adventure Time.
How is that a problem?
Mashup.
I'm just saying they're there. Not saying they're bad.
I'm just saying they're there.
Yeah.
And I bought something.
Yeah. I was almost buying something from them too.
Yep.
Because that stuff's cute.
But I did still get my old standbys. I mean, there's no more poop comics, but I got like my second bunny mom because having rabbits, this girl just makes comics that are basically like, this is what it's like to own a rabbit. And they're very apt to what it's like to own a rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this little like good dog that's about a dog who's going to avenge his master's death. And it looks like a video game. They said they want to make it a video game, but I don't know if they'll be able to because they don't know what kind of video game they want it to be, which is a sign that you're not ready to make video games. But it was a really good little mini comic. Emily picked up strong female protagonist.
It's like, but Kate Beaton, I thought, didn't have a table there.
That's not Kate Beaton. That's Molly Ostertag and Brendan Lee Mulligan.
Strong. It sounds strikingly familiar.
Yes, but no, this is strong female protagonist.
Oh, right. I think
comic.
Kate Beaton is strong female characters.
Something like that.
I forget. Anyway.
But I picked up stuff like that, but I bought maybe 10 or 11 comics total. Last year,
Not enough to cover the entire floor.
Nah, last year we covered the entire living room floor. I bought like 30 things.
Well, maybe part of our problem, right, was that in years past we had bought medium amounts, sort of in between this year and last year. And then last year we went so all out that this year
My question
so
is
much was
why?
repeats. If we had bought less last year, then those things that we had not bought last year would have bought this year.
But my question is, why did we go so all out last year? Because I remember last year,
We had that feeling, I guess. I don't know.
you would come to me and be like, "Oh my God, Rim, look at this thing I bought." I'm like,
Well,
"Yeah, I bought
last
it
year
too."
was the year with like the cute bunny in the basket thing.
Yup.
And I don't
But
know.
last year, everyone I was with was coming up to me, and I was going up to people saying, "Oh my God, check out this thing I saw at this table over here!" Like we were all dragging each other around. This year, almost no one did that to me, and I did that to no one.
Check out outside the window.
Whoa, thunderstorms are coming.
I got to get home.
Scott, it's gonna rain.
Yeah, I told you that. Okay.
That's a pretty impressive thunderstorm.
Yeah, right?
I get excited. We don't get thunderstorms in New York often.
I know. I got to go home and try to take lightning pictures and fail again.
So yeah, MoCCa was good. It was enjoyable. I cannot articulate what made me slightly less satisfied this year because I can't point to anything specific.
Yeah. It was nothing that was obvious. It was just like we saw the result and the cause is unknown.
Like, I don't know why I bought less. I don't know why I feel like I saw less things compared to what I usually see. I felt not dissatisfied, but almost dissatisfied, like a little more meh. And I've never felt that way about a MoCCa before, but I cannot even begin to explain why.
Maybe you bought so much last year because you had that giant We Love Fine bag. And it's an issue where, like, when someone pours a drink, they fill the glass.
Oh. But then again, Emily bought a whole ton of crap, and so did you last year.
Because you were carrying all of it.
I was not carrying that much. I almost brought the We Love Fine bag, but I pulled it out and discovered it's torn. I have to repair it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So let's just talk about cool things we did see at this MoCCa.
That lemon grab stuff was actually pretty goddamn cool, especially because
I don't know
this
anything
little book.
about this lemon grab.
Lemon grab in Adventure Time is one of the better things about
Whoa,
Adventure
that storm
Time.
is moving real fast.
Whoa.
Okay, so I saw this cute comic called Pencil Pup, which was a cute puppy who had pencils for arms and legs. And I bought it, and I was just thinking it would be cute because I buy cute things. And then when I got home and I actually read it, I was like, whoa, this shit is freaking surreal. So if you go to www.pencilpup.com, it's a webcomic. You can just read it, even though I have the paper edition of the beginning. I got to the end and it wasn't over yet, and I really wanted to finish it. And it said, go to pencilpup.com to read the rest. And I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known that. I could have just read it all at pencilpup.com. But the actual little mini comic is really cute. The way it's constructed, it looks sort of like one of those black and white covered notebook things with the Pencil Pup on it. And Pencil Pup is the best. You should read Pencil Pup.
No, I got so Molly Ostertag, she has a strong female protagonist, but she also has Cthulhu, the wrestler princess.
Oh, snap.
It's about Scott, Mongolians,
Oh, shit.
cons,
Oh, shit.
wrestling.
Oh, Those are all
pretty
good
great.
things.
Look
Those
at that art too.
those are all the best things so far. Almost.
Yeah, that's probably the most impressive thing that we have in our possession for MoCCa this year.
Check out that wolf. Ooh, look, wrestling.
Yeah.
Ooh, they might be in love while wrestling. Yep. That's what's happening. Oh, but they're still wrestling. Okay.
One problem I had was that when I think about this, the Scandinavian comics area, most of the comics that were out were not in English and didn't have translations inserted in them. And I remember last year, most of those comics had little translation sheets with them, and a lot of them were actually in English.
So, a MoCCa or two ago, I bought a comic, Nurse, which is about a nurse, but is actually this awesome sci-fi kind of thing that you don't realize what it is when you first look at it. You got to read it, and then you go, oh shit, this is actually way above your expectations. It's by a girl named Katie Skelly. And then some time ago on Boing Boing, I saw Nurse, and I was like, whoa, what is Nurse doing on Boing Boing? It totally deserves to be there, but I didn't expect to see it there. And they were talking about Operation Margarine, which is the new comic by Katie Skelly that is not Nurse.
No.
So I bought friggin' issues 1 and 2 of Operation Margarine. Oh, snap, Margarine.
So I think we're going to trickle in reviews of all these little comics as we share all of our bounty. And
I'm going to get really wet. Let's end it.
All right, Scott has to go home because it's about to
Look at that.
That's kind of gonna go up on the roof and watch this shit.
This is like some fucking like wizard cast, cloud lightning spell action. That came in really fast. Like literally, as you're talking to you, the sky was white, and now it is like evil guys are coming dark.
All right, then we'll leave it at that. But we made it through a whole week with normal Geek Nights. We're back to our normal schedule. Things are as they should be.
Dun, dun.
Expect our other lecture from PAX. Expect our more Geek Nights Presents Utenas. Expect our other secret projects to slowly come to fruition. Come see us at Anime Boston. Come see us at Kineticon. Come see us at PAX Australia and PAX Dev, PAX Prime.
Expect us.
This has been Geek Nights with Rym and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
This kind of pressure, I must confess, one more dusty road would be just a road too long.
I just can't seem to get started. Don't have the heart to live in the fast lane. All that is past and gone.
And there ain't nothing you can do about it. Hurt me while I panic. I come from Casey, Missouri. And I got my kicks out on Route 66. Every truck stop from Butte to MO. Motown, New Old Alabama. From Texarkana and east to Savannah. From Tampa to Oklahoma. I once ran the Indy 500. I must confess I'm impressed how I did it. I wonder how close that I came. Now I get a sinking sensation. I was the top of the line, out of sight, out of mind. So much for fortune and fame.
Once took a Texan to a wedding. Once took a Texan to a wedding. He kept forgetting his loneliness, letting his thoughts turn to home and return.
I took a man to a graveyard. I beg your pardon, it's quite hard enough just living with the stuff I have learned.
Once drove a surfer to sunset. There were bikinis and buns, there were weenies. Bellini just couldn't forget. Kiko, let's go up to Zuma. Kiko, let's go up to Zuma. From Zuma to Yuma, the rumor was I had a hand in the lay of the land. Get up and go hit the highway.
On a reservation. Who would believe they would love me and leave on a bus back to old Santa Fe? Once in an Indian nation, I took the kids on the skids with a hope he was happy till I heard him say, your word